If you're having a baby girl, this is pretty much the only baby name list you're going to want to listen to, because this is the always popular, rare but rising girl names, where I scour the bottom of the baby name popularity charts to find the names that are zooming up, and these are the ones that in 3 years time everyone's going to be using. But if you love baby names and have a minute, guess what? I have a book coming out for you. This is where I've been for months, writing this book for you guys so you can choose a baby name that you will love. I started these videos, remember I always didn't like the A to Z baby name books when I was naming my baby. I just sort of flicked through trying to find something that would stick out at me. So Baby Name Envy is a total revamp. It's coming out on June 19th at Penguin Random House, I know, but it is available to pre-order now, today. If you pre-order today, you'll also be in for a chance of winning a personal baby name consultation with me, your very own Baby Name Monday video. But the book is so different. I've put style quizzes in here so you can find out what type of namer you are. I've got names from all around the world and all the themes that we love and more. There's conversation guides, there's games to play with your friends or your partner, there's little ideas of how to know whether you're choosing the right name and names that are really meaningful to you as well. So it's a totally new way of choosing a baby name you'll love and come up with a name that everyone else will wish they thought of first. I can't wait for you to get your hands on it. If everyone who watches this video pre-orders it, I could actually have the #1 baby name book in the UK tonight, which would mean so much, and you don't have to pay until June either. But let's get on with the name lists. All these names are between 400 and 700 in the chart, so super rare, but they are going up and up. And the one I found that's jumped the most is over 1,000 places. So starting at the smallest jump, the name Avie, A-V-I-E, went up 108 places last year. I think so many of you who love those more popular names like Olivia or Ava might really love Avie, because it is really, really gorgeous and it means breath or life, which I love as a meaning. So gorgeous and memorable of that first breath that they take, or that first time you might get to hold your little NICU baby. Is a really stunning name that is really low down the charts. But coming up, Shiloh, one of our favourites here on the channel, means tranquil, a really gorgeous gender neutral name, but really rising for girls. It went up 118 places in 1 year. So if it keeps on that trajectory, what we're looking at is predicting the names that are going to be huge by the time your little bump or your little baby starts school, and they're gorgeous to hear and know and get ahead of the curve. I always think is good. I love spotting trends, and I feel like there's such a retro kitsch vibe going on with so many of these names, because Joni, spelt the way that Joni Mitchell spells it, has gone up an amazing 123 places. I love it. I would list it for Joni Mitchell, but I was also a Joni Cunningham fan. From the happy days, anyone remember that? And I just love the name. It's got a really retro, playful vibe, and it fits in with all the vintage as nickname names that we're seeing further up the charts, but it's totally its own style, isn't it? So Joni would hit my list. If you're like a hippie, you like sort of that type of names, festival girl names, Joni is a tick, tick, tick from me. Romilly went up 127 places, a beautiful long name. It often comes up as meaning from Rome, from the Romilius family, who were a big dynasty, the powerhouses, the Kardashians of Rome. But it also has a lovely nature meaning if you just look at the word, what they mean. So it can mean spacious clearing, which takes me then outdoors to more of that beautiful meadow, to that nature vibe. Again, it's a very whimsical name, Romilly, and you've got lovely Millie as a nickname, or Roma, which is really, really popular. The name is Celeste, went up 132 places, meaning heavenly. For you star girls, for Saturn return ladies, it's at number 444 in the charts. That's an angel number apparently. So yes, Celeste. What I love about it is that I'm seeing all these names that are rising. A lot of them don't have that extra long ending. So my daughter's Evelina, and we love those names that end in IA. And that was a real trend from the Victorian times, when the paper presses started to print a lot of romantic novels. We started getting more influences from Europe, and these romance names, adding the IA onto everything, became really pretty. So I actually think names like Celeste, where it's a bit more of a strong, stands out, just ends, Celeste, is really, really gorgeous and almost sounds more vintage. What do you think? I really love Celeste. I love the meaning of heavenly. I think it's a really beautiful, gorgeous name that has its own sort of power behind it. It's definitely got star quality. Dahlia is another firm favourite of mine, rare flower name. It went up 151 spots in 1 year alone last year, named after the Swedish botanist Anders Dahl. It's gorgeous. I actually love the way that it sounds like darling as well. It's very, very romantic as a name. Really stand out, really unique with so many floral names being higher up. Gigi went up 160 places, meaning earth worker, short form for George. Another beautiful, beautiful name. We've talked about it a lot on this channel. Birdie, see what I mean about this sort of vintage kitsch name? We're getting to the really big jumpers now. That went up 182 places in 1 year alone. It was most popular before the 1930s and more in America, when it was used as a nickname for like Alberta and Roberta and those types of names. Whereas now, if you had Albie or Bertie on your boy name list, and I will do the boy name version of this list next week, then I feel like Birdie could hit your girl name list, if you see what I mean. I like Bertie. Then I might like Birdie as well. I know it's like slightly different, but be brave with these vintage nickname names. They are rising up, and soon Birdie will be really popular and you'll be a few years ahead of the curve. Raya, spelled like this, R-A-E-Y-A, was new to me. Love it. It went up 205 places last year alone. It comes up as lots of different meanings. A lot of it was hope and desire. Let me know. That appeared to be like a Persian root, but it also came up as meaning to sing and singer, which I love. Raya, but I hear Ray a lot as a middle name at the moment, and if you love it, but maybe that longer form could make your first name spot if Ray felt a little bit short for you. What do you think of Raya? Really like it. Talia, we just talked about this in our Moto Boho trend, and it's again, and these are just stats, like I've literally just drawn the stats. I haven't put my own lens and just sifted through and taken some out, but Talia is up at 216 places. It means that festivity, flourishing, beautiful, beautiful name. Go back and listen to that video for more details. Amara went up 233 places, a Sanskrit name, right back to the Vedic, I can never say this word, Vedic texts. Very old language, really, really spiritual language, sort of meaning everything or eternal, and that sort of everlasting nature of life, which is so lovely. I love names with those gorgeous big meanings, because you can just feel that so many of you will connect once you know a meaning to a name as well, and that sort of feeling of this eternity of life and the vastness of it is just really, really beautiful. Amara, gorgeous sounding name as well. Noel, what do you think of Noel? I was so surprised to see it went up 244 places, and it's a really cool name. It means born at Christmas. So really trendy, and also again loving these names that are just ending in that E sound, a little bit more succinct, aren't they? Succinct than the longer forms. Noel coming back into style. There's some such surprising names on here that maybe are just starting to have their vintage revival. Armani is one of them, went up 254 places. So associated with a brand, Giorgio Armani, but it's an Italian surname. Really beautiful sounding, and it means like army man or man of force. But Armani is coming back into style again. Maybe that sort of brand names are becoming wearable again. Do you remember there was a huge stage of people absolutely loving them, more like in the 90s, and the 90s is back, as we know. I mean, it never went out, did it, for some of us, but it is back in terms of names, and Armani could be first of one of those real strong brand names that comes back, which would be really interesting. I'm going to follow that trend. Sierra went up 263 places, and I absolutely love it. It is in my book. It means sword or jagged edge or mountain range, which I absolutely love. It's really, really earthy, but it's also got that grandeur of mountain range. Sierra, really wearable, really well known. Sorry to change batteries. I swear my camera is like the most relatable piece of equipment I ever owned. It's just like I'm exhausted. I've been at this for 10 minutes now. I'm done. It just turns itself off. Yes, so Sierra, I love it. I feel like it's really fashion forward, and I love the meaning of it as well. I love the idea of, it feels quite cottage cool with like the soaring and the jagged edge as well. So if you're somebody who likes to work with your hands, Sierra is a beautiful name. It's just really gorgeous. Goldie, feel like we're to blame for this one because we absolutely love it here on this channel. We love it as a nickname for Marigold, for a vintage name. It went up 263 places last year. I absolutely love seeing it get used because it was so out, you'd not heard it at all. But if it keeps on that trajectory, this is all about what's going to be, we're going to be hearing in the playgrounds in the next few years. And go back and watch the older versions of this video that I made and see were we right, because I've done this for about the last 2 or 3 years, and definitely number one, we predicted it, I'm sure. Bobby, I just talked about Bobby as well. It went up 286 places in 1 year alone. That is absolutely huge. And again, it was always a vintage nickname. Sometimes for a Barbara it was coming up as being a nickname as well. Dulcie Dulcie, I don't know why I said it like that. It's such a throwback as well, and I feel like this retro kitsch vibe, I'm going to do that as a list. It's particularly for girls, but I'll do it for boys as well because it's just such a theme that's coming through. Dulcie means sweet, and again, it was one of those pre-1930s mainly American names, but it's a Spanish word, of course, meaning sweet, and it just fits so perfectly into the vintage as first name, vintage nickname as first name trend, but also just this sort of really retro, playful vibe. Navy went up 380 places, I think because we love those V sounds, and it's just getting much braver with our names as well, and using a word name, using a colour name. Interestingly, the colour used to be called maritime blue until the Navy, the fleet of sailors started to wear the outfits in the navy blue, and then it became known as navy blue. So the Navy actually changed the name of the colour. Does that make sense? You get what I mean? I think that that's a very fun fact. And I love the name Navy, and I feel like it's really wearable. It sounds sort of daring at first, but then when you actually just strip it back to just the sound of it and the letters of it and how wearable and well known it is, Navy actually really, really works. I was so shocked by these next ones. These are all in the going up 400 places. Marla. Have you heard Marla? I haven't heard this name for so long. It actually is a variation of Mary, whereas I was like, is it short for Marlene? Do you remember the name Marlene? Marla. But like with Margot, Mava, all these M names being so high, I'm not surprised actually to see Marla coming back as this really cool name. Really loved looking at all these things much further down. So what do you think of Marla? Have you heard it? Would you list it? I'm desperate to know your thoughts on these names below. Lenny went up 432 places. I'm laughing because I loved it so much for my daughter's Evelina, and I always wanted her to do Lenny as in maybe a cooler nickname, but again, it's short for Helena, so or Magdalena as well, meaning light. Beautiful meaning, a real cool girl name, rising through the ranks, but still remember all of these names are outside the top 400 in the charts, but it's gone up that massive leap. So if it keeps going up, then maybe you'll be having a really cool fashion forward name. And I think what that helps with is if we're not thinking, am I brave enough for this name, it's not actually that brave a name. More people are swelling behind it, cheering you on. Do it. Oh my gosh, but Veronica, kid you not, Veronica went up 448 places in 1 year alone last year. Let me know if you know why. Was there a cultural moment around Veronica? Often that happens. Or is the name just due its revival? I mean, it's got Ronnie as a nickname, the pretty V sound that we really like. It's a strong girl name, but yeah, it's been out of style for so long. It means to be in the true image of something or someone, which is really nice if you're sort of passing down a name, and or somebody, if you want to honour somebody and you're in the true image of them, but you don't want to use their name, Veronica. But lush to see these names coming back, can you believe it? And going up in a massive 607 spots in 1 year alone. Any guesses? Drum roll. Is the name Rue, spelt R-U-E. Now I've seen this on so many middle names. I actually asked on Instagram for everyone's middle names, what they'd actually used, and I'm going to compile a list of the most popular middle names because we never hear those, and it's actually where a lot of the sort of more fashion forward or daring names are, like in the middle. So drop your kids' middle names below as well. But Rue I started seeing a lot in the middle. even seeing it's spelled R-O-U-X as well. Spelled like this, it's the French word for street, which is really very Parisian of us, isn't it, over here? But really pretty, short, sweet name, that sort of back to basics, simplicity, minimalism vibe that's been a huge trend is really bringing these names through still. Really interestingly, we used to always say it means regret as well. We would say, I will rue the day that I didn't pre-order Baby Name Envy the book when I could get my hands on it, not pay until June and help Esther get into the baby name charts. What a day to rue. But because we don't use that word anymore, it's not something that we would say day to day. I don't think my kids have probably ever even heard that expression. It's not going to be something that would carry on for a child during their lifetime. It just is a really gorgeous name. I loved doing all the data. I did look up as well what names have gone up the most over the last 5 years and Bridget had gone up 298 places in 5 years. I'm wondering, with the return of Bridget Jones, do you reckon that will help or hinder the name Bridget? Because she was such an iconic character, Bridget Jones, that maybe it sort of felt like you were almost naming your baby after her. But I love the name. I love Bridge when they call her that in the movie. I haven't seen the new one. Valencia, have you heard the name Valencia? I have. It went up an absolutely massive 324 places in 5 years. It's still outside the top 400, but this means strong or healthy, which is a really lovely meaning to give to a little girl. And obviously it's the place name as well. Place names are back. They're making a comeback. Opal, that's the one. Opal went up 1,132 places just in the last 4 years, that was. So we predicted this for sure. I have to dig out the video. Let me know, link it below if you find it, where we chose our favourite name, unranked name for the year, and it was Opal so many years ago. Beautiful gemstone, a beautiful birthstone name, and a real vintage throwback that's just, you know, with Olivia being so popular, I can imagine totally jumping onto Opal if that was on my name list and going with it. So I hope you enjoyed those rare but rising baby girl names. Come back next week for the boy version, and do pre-order, please, 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 Baby Name Envy. If you don't know, Baby Name Envy was the name of a podcast that I co-hosted with my sister Naomi, who passed away, who died just over a year and a half ago now, about a year and a half. So when they got in touch with me, I have to tell you this story in another video about writing Baby Name Envy the book, and it being with Penguin, and they had such great ideas and same ideas as me about how to make this totally fresh, totally modern, even the way it looks. Like, this is a sort of a dummy copy. My kids have been loving carrying it around the house. So the actual final one will be all sort of glossy as well. It's going to be a hardback, so it's really, really giftable. And the idea is you can write in this and really personalise it. Yes, if you pre-order now, apparently it's all about pre-orders on these different, apparently it's all about pre-orders for books to then take it into store as well. So fingers crossed, if everyone here pre-orders, it will be the #1 baby name book by tomorrow morning. Sorry, I'm not going to sleep tonight. I'll be hitting refresh, but anyway, it's here. I'm so proud of it, and thank you all, anyone who's ever supported me. You know what I mean. You know how much it means. Anyway, I don't want this to make this about me. I want it to be about you, because I wrote it for you guys, and I just really want you to get your hands on it and love it as much as I do. Bye guys.